Hey comic book fans, your pal David here to give you guys another edition of the Comic Fix. Now this is part 2 in this week of reviews. So I'm going to start things off with the Green Lantern books that came out this week. First up is Green Lantern Corps issue number 12. In here we get the battle between the Alpha Lanterns and the Green Lanterns. And that's basically it for this whole entire issue. We do get to see a little bit of the little teasing of what's going to come up in the next arc, which is a pretty cool scene, which I'm not going to ruin here. But you do get these really cool fight sequences. But that's pretty much it. In here, I do think that the art is pretty nice to look at, and I really like how they integrate all the green into this issue. And just some really fun art to be had. Like, if you just look at it, I mean, it's a beautiful book, and it's done really well. And the storytelling is pretty good. It's not top-notch, but it's definitely something that you can grasp on if you are reading the other Green Lantern books. But there's one negative to this whole entire book, is that it's not really new reader-friendly. Yes, you do get this big old fight sequences, but you never get the sense why they are doing what they're doing if you're a new reader. So, I would say if you're a new reader and was interested in this series, not to start with this issue, but to wait to the Zero issue that comes out next month. And one thing I gotta say, with all these Zero issues that are coming out for DC Comics, it's really slowed down or stopped a lot of the books that seem like they had more story to tell, but they had to finish up the story arc to get prepared for the Zero issues for next month. And I felt that in this book. This book could have been a couple more issues, told a little bit more of the story, and get some points in there where it seems like they try a little bit cram it in to this one issue for next month to add the Zero issues. So with that being said, I'm going to give Green Lantern Corps issue number 12 a 4 out of 5. A good book, but definitely not new reader friendly. Next up is Green Lantern issue number 12. Oh my god! Green Lantern by Geoff Johns is back on track. The pacing in here is perfect. There's enough action sequences with some character development and plot development that you're enthralled the whole entire time while reading it. Storyline is that Sinestro and Hal were looking at the book of Black and were sucked into it. And they come out and they're right where Black Hand is. Black Hand picks up the book of the Black, looks into the pages, and what does it say? Hal Jordan is not your enemy. Now what does this mean? Well, you just have to read this book to find out. So now let's get on to the good, the bad, and whatnot you should be picking up this issue. The good is that the artwork in here is just gorgeous all the way through. And the ending to this book is just so... It's just so interesting that you just cannot wait to see the annual that's going to be coming out in 2 weeks. And that's one thing I forgot to say about the Green Lantern Corps. When I said the thing about the little teaser about what's going to happen in the following issues after the Zero issues next month, I think all of it's going to accumulate into the annual that's going to be coming out for Green Lantern in 2 weeks. So with that being said, it's just awesome artwork, great writing, and a story that has you enthralled the whole way through. And that's something you could not say about Green Lantern in its early days with the New 52. Because when it started, it was pretty slow, and it didn't feel like it had that much direction. Well, Geoff Johns has honed his skills once again, and it's got this book back on track, and I cannot wait to see where it's going to go from there. And also, there's one good thing for new readers. It gives a very good synopsis about every single book in the Green Lantern's family line, so that when you get to the annual, you know what's going on right then and there. And that was one thing I was not expecting, where it told you the main plot lines were Green Lantern Corps, and Green Lantern Guardians of the Galaxy. So some cool things to be had, and I just enjoyed this book so much. So I'm going to give Green Lantern issue number 12 a 5 out of 5. It's a book I think that everyone should start to pick up, because it's really starting to pick up its pace. Next up is Kid Flash, not Kid Flash, but DC Universe Presents Kid Flash issue number 12. Now, one thing about DC Universe Presents is that they go everywhere in the DC Universe, where they will tell a story about Savage for 3 issues, and then after that 3-issue story arc, they'll go off to something else. Well, in here we get an issue of Kid Flash. And he has to deal with some dinosaur humans coming out of a portal, and he has to deal with it to get them back into that portal, to get them back wherever they came from. That's basically the whole entire story. The one thing I really enjoyed about this book was in the first page. And this is, I think, the line that DC Comics should use for their continuity jumbled mess that they have with the New 52. And in here, Kid Flash says, "Continuity doesn't really matter. Clarity is overrated. Let the fun begin." I think that's what DC Universe or DC Comics should just put out. Hey, I know we're having a problem with the whole continuity mess in this whole entire New 52, but here's the thing, we're just enjoy the comics for what they are. And did I enjoy this book? I did enjoy the writing of Kid Flash. I mean, the writer in here, Fabian, I don't want to even butcher his last name, he gets a good voice for Barry Allen, or Bart. And that was something really cool. It felt like a Jimmy Palmiotti type of book, and it was just a fun book. But the negatives about this book was not the art, but the plot line. The plot line was a little too ridiculous for my taste. And seeing these dinosaur/human mutant things did not really interest me whatsoever. And then the ending of the book tells you to finish off the story, you have to go read Teen Titans, issue number 12. So I'm not really looking forward to it. And I'm sad to see that Teen Titans is going to be following the storyline, because the storyline is not that interesting whatsoever. And Teen Titans has not been all that interesting since the New 52 started. But the art in here is pretty good. I mean, just seeing the speed that the artist portrayals of Kid Flash is pretty dang cool. I mean, I was enjoying it a lot. But just the plot line just dragged this whole book down. So with that being said, I'll give DC Universe Presents issue number 12, Kid Flash, a 2.5 out of 5. It's a book that you can easily just pass up and not feel like you missed anything. And you can say the same thing about next month's book. Next month's book is going to be a Where Are They Now type of book, where all the books that were cut in the first wave of DC Comics, they're going to be in DC Universe Presents and just be like, Where Are They Now type of book. So I can say just pass on this book, because there's nothing really here that just got me interested. Next up is Supergirl, issue number 12. Supergirl is going to ask Superman for help. Superman gives her some revelations. Now these revelations are going to change a lot of things that we know about Supergirl. And we can see why she is more powerful than Superman, and why their kryptonite abilities are different than one another. As she hears all about all these revelations, she gets pretty PO'd about it. And she wants to figure out stuff on her own. So she barges off, and she hears a voice in the middle of the ocean calling out to her. She goes into it and investigate. Now what does she find? Well, you just have to read to find out. Now onto the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. The good. I really like that it felt like the two Mikes, Mike Green and Mike Johnson, felt like they finally got back on track with Supergirl. We're getting a little bit more revelations about her with some questions. But we're not getting this whole teen drama that we were getting in the previous issues, where you can easily have picked up the first six or eight issues of Supergirl and skipped on all the rest and picked up with number 12 and felt like you haven't missed anything. So it's a good thing to feel like Supergirl is back on track. And I really like the interaction that Supergirl is having with Superman. It seems like whenever Superman's in there, he makes this book that much better. Which is a funny thing to say, because Superman in Action Comics and the main Superman title has been really boring up until now. And I actually like the way that they write Superman in the Supergirl title. So we got some really cool just plot lines, and I just liked everything about this book. I mean, there's nothing really negative that I could say about this issue, because I just like how everything just got back on track. And if you're a Supergirl fan, don't miss this book, because there's a lot of fun to be had. So I'm going to give Supergirl issue number 12 a 4 out of 5. And 2 more books to go for this video. And second to last is Wonder Woman issue number 12. This book is freaking amazing. If you've been following Wonder Woman and you pick up this issue, there's so many revelations, so much action, so much plot lines coming together, and some questions that you want answered. And all comes together in this one book. You have Wonder Woman trying to protect Zeus's unborn child, and a big old battle for the throne of the gods. You see this big old battle taking place, and as that's taking place, the woman that is carrying Zeus's unborn child is being birthed. So there's a lot of hectic stuff in this issue, but a lot of great action, and the reveal at the end is just something that you just did not see coming. And I'll be interested to read the previous issues and see if I can see where this plot was coming in and where it just did a 180 on me. Just a fun book, but there's one negative. And it's not a negative that I'm going to take a point off of this book. But if you're a new reader and coming into this one issue, you'll be lost as hell. But what I would suggest for that new reader, go back, pick up the volume 1, and pick up all the issues up to issue number 12. And you're in for one of the best Wonder Woman stories that has been told in years. And then because with this issue, we basically got 3 big old revelations. And the last one is just something that I just did not see coming whatsoever. And people like Sleepy Reader is going to be loving what the last reveal of in this book is. Because if you're a Jack Kirby fan, you're going to be like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the new gods in the new 52. I just ruined it. But, sorry about that. But go and read this book anyway, because you're in for one of the best reads in this whole entire month and the last couple months. I mean, Wonder Woman by Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang has been one of the most enjoyable comic reads I've had in a long time. I would even say that it's more enjoyable to read than Scott Snyder's Batman run that he's having right now. So with that being said, I give Wonder Woman issue number 12 a 5 out of 5. And finally, for this video's of reviews, I have Blue Beetle issue number 12. This issue has basically a story that you've seen a lot of times before. A damsel in distress is calling out for her hero to come, and Blue Beetle answers the call and goes out to face off against Blood Beetle, I think that's what his name is. And this comic book knows that it's a comic book. There's a lot of comic fun in here. There's a lot of ridiculous moments. And there's a lot of just like these caring moments that you're just like, oh, he really did that? type of moments, where you get everything bundled into one issue. And I love the character moments in this issue, especially with Blue Beetle. I forget his name right now, when he's interacting with his grandma. And there was one thing I thought was handled very well in this one issue, where you see his grandma and Blue Beetle's going around in his grandma's home, and the Scarab, who gives Blue Beetle his suit, keeps on asking him, what is these like pictures of Jesus that I'm seeing, you know? And they handled religion very well in here, where they are not preaching at you, they're just telling you that this is part of Blue Beetle's life. And I wish I could remember who the person who is Blue Beetle's real name actually is. But it's just a fun issue that doesn't do anything to wow you. But if you're a comic book fan, and if you're a Spider-Man fan, and say you want something other than Spider-Man, but in that same type of genre, Blue Beetle's the way to go. And it's just a fun book. But just know that you're not going into it to be wowed, or to be thinking that this is some of the best work you've ever seen. Unlike with Wonder Woman. So I'm going to give Blue Beetle issue number 12 3.5 out of 5. Fun book, good art. You know, nothing really wrong with it. But it was just a story that you've seen told a whole bunch of times. So that's it for this video. In my next video, I'm going to be doing the Bat Family books that came out this week. So if you're a new watcher, subscribe on top, and for you old viewers, like on the bottom. My name's David, and I'll see you guys on another fix.